It usually takes about, well, we're live now, but I know we won't give everybody a chance to log on. I Has he gone to Twitter? It's not as good as it used to be, but
Yeah.
some tagging the help desk sometimes would prompt it to at least get a case open to checking on that. So the help desk
Yeah. I
there,
mean, I forwarded him all the information that we talked about and everything that's in that article. So I'm like, have you gone here?
that,
Have you gone here? Have you tried this? Have you like, yeah.
and I
So
will also be honest, one of
Charlie may run in and out and join us momentarily, but he was chasing the squirrels. So you need the pom poms. I hear
well,
ya. Guitars. Who's got a
so
guitar? Oh, because we're rocking Lincoln. Got it. I
yes,
don't
we're
have a
walking.
guitar,
And
but when I'm in New
Simpson, I
Jersey,
think, is asleep. Yeah, he's asleep. So, um,
when I'm in New Jersey, I promise you there are many guitars around that I can have in the background.
so welcome, guys. We're super excited. We're going to be rolling out a new format in the coming week. So we thought for today we would kind of keep this very open and set it up as a more ask us any type of thing. So get those questions ready, drop them in the chat. We want to be able to answer those questions before we get started. Let us know if you're watching this or if you're catching it on the replay. Drop it in the comments, but also let us know where you're joining from. And a really quick question for you is, let us know, are you currently job seeking, building your business, or just trying to show up more on LinkedIn? So I'll put that up on the screen there as well. And Shell, for those that don't know you, can you give a brief introduction, and I'll give mine, and we'll get ready set, and we'll get ready to go.
Ready, set, go. Okay, I got my
Ready,
pom
set,
poms.
go, or something
I'm
like
ready.
that.
Let's go, go, go. Hey everyone, I'm Shell, your LinkedIn cheerleader. It's for you, Jay. Uh, and I help people engage more effectively on the platform. I encourage you to show up as your authentic self. I help you keep, maintain, and cultivate momentum so that you can work closer and work smarter to reach your LinkedIn goals. Whether you are job seeking and looking for new opportunities, whether you are looking for new clients, whether you're looking to build community or just surround yourself with more support. I am here to help you engage more effectively to reach that and attain it and sustain it. So, Mel, people need to hear what you do and how you can help.
What I do. So, yes, what do I do? One of the things that well, before I jump into that, for those that don't know, of course, my name is Melanie Mitchell Wexler. But I was a recruiter for 20 years. And then um, prior to becoming a coach, I, of course, had pivoted, but I worked with individuals across the country at all levels, and really was helping them primarily with their resumes. And then I pivoted into coaching. And one of the things that I found specifically as I went through my own LinkedIn journey and showing up on the platform and really learning how to do it, I found that there was a lot of job seekers that just didn't understand LinkedIn, didn't understand, had a very negative view. And that's actually something that's popped up a lot this week for me. I always kind of find little themes where people are like, well, that person said LinkedIn's worthless, or that person said, LinkedIn isn't worth the time, or LinkedIn doesn't really work, help you find a job, right? And as my business has expanded, I've helped, individuals not just with job seekers, but also consultants, business owners. And a lot of this has been the things that both Shell and I have learned. And even having now a partner in it, it makes learning much easier as well. But I share that because I'm a LinkedIn strategist. And so I'm going to help you with understanding how to optimize your profile. And I'm also going to help you understand how to show up on this platform in a way that feels authentic to you and not something that feels forced, because I felt like everything, the advice that I was always given was very much like, you need to fit this box. and it sometimes never felt it. I sometimes I think authentic we overuse it, but it didn't feel authentic to me. It definitely felt like I was forcing it. So a little bit more in the introduction, but just kind of reminded me of like, well, why, how did I get started on LinkedIn? And this week I've definitely had that where I've seen that happen a lot with people saying how LinkedIn doesn't work, and so I think that's a can be a good start there. Yeah, welcome. We've got a lot of people watching: Catherine, Lisa, Kevin, Meryl, of course, Adrian. Just want to give
Adrian,
you guys some shout out, and Jay as
Leanna.
well. So thanks Miss Leanna, thank you for catching that all the way from Minnesota. I know that's not how people say it, but I don't
That's
know
how
why.
it's say. That's how it comes. That's what you hear in your brain, right?
That's what I hear in my brain, which we don't necessarily need to know what I'm hearing in my brain sometimes. So, again, another conversation. So, if you guys have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We want to make sure that we answer those for you. We've got not only are we checking the chat, but we're also checking the live itself as it's streaming. So, we'll try to catch all those questions. And we've got some questions from some people that we've worked with both together because we had previously launched the LinkedIn Rockstar Academy and then Academy cohort, but we've also from our own clients and things of that nature. So, Shell, if you want, are you ready to dive into those questions?
Sure. I actually thought of another one besides that, the ones that I shared with you, but sure, we can start with them. So one of the questions that we've been asked, and I'm going to paraphrase here because it, everybody says it a little bit differently. It sounds like I know I should be engaging more on LinkedIn, but I'm slammed with client work or looking for an actual job, hitting, applying for all these things, and I don't want to just post for the sake of posting. What's the most efficient way a busy professional like me can get noticed and build genuine connections without spending hours a day scrolling? That's a great question.
It's a great question, and I'd love to, guys, give us some thumbs up or I love a good emoji. Okay, I'm just gonna if you've not watched before, you're gonna find out today. I love a good emoji. I don't think there's anything wrong with an emoji. So give us some emojis there. Give us if you feel like you experience that because I know I have where I feel like it literally is, like, oh, I've got to be up over here. I've got to do this. But I don't feel like it, or I don't have enough time in the day, or I feel, used to feel guilty. By the way, didn't do a newsletter for 3 weeks, folks. Did one today. Um, Very well received. So thank you all for supporting that. But yeah, that's one of the things, and I think that I would ask myself, like, one of the things that I would ask this individual from a coaching standpoint is, okay, we've got 10 minutes. We can all agree 10 I can give you 10 minutes, right? I think that's like I'm probably being very low. We can probably honestly give ourselves a little bit more, right? Because prior to not realizing that it was almost that it was 6 o'clock, I was just scrolling through and catching up on the Actors in Criminal Minds that's on Paramount Plus. So, like, I was on Instagram. I was just like lost in my own thoughts. So, I could have probably spent that more productively. So, let's say I've got those 10 minutes a day. Where should I focus? For me, and this is a question I even want you guys to be asking yourselves, but if I'm going to focus, I'm actually going to spend that 10 minutes a day looking for people that I can engage with. So I'm not going to count how many posts I actually engage with. I'm going to be very mindful about it. If I get to 5, great. If I get to 2, great. But what kind of post can I actually show up on where I can give my thoughts from my point of view, from my perspective, whatever that hat is that you're wearing in that moment. And I'm going to focus on specific engagement on LinkedIn posts. I'm not going to force my hand in creating content. because that's an extra added pressure. And if I'm going to use if I just say I've got LinkedIn, you've got 10 minutes of my time today, where am I going to go? That's where I'm going to go. How would you tackle this um, from an efficiency standpoint, Shell?
Yeah, and I love what Americo said too, like echoing what you've already shared, like spend those 10 minutes commenting. So I think it's about like not the quantity of time, but the quality of your time. I did a post on this recently, not for 10 minutes. I said if all you've got to spend on LinkedIn, it like 22 minutes should do it. You know, I'm really into the angel numbers. So like 22 minutes feels pretty good, but also like studies have shown that that's like a good chunk of time to block off. Like I've seen something recently. I wish I had the link to it besides my LinkedIn post of like how meetings should really only like effective meetings could be 22 minutes instead of 30 minutes. Like let's just cut out all the fluff time and get right down to what needs to happen. I think I don't know if the exact number for like a power nap is 22 minutes or if it's like 20 or 21, but it's somewhere around there. And like, so I'm gonna go with like the repeating number because again, angel numbers are a thing for me. And 22 minutes, if that's all you have, if 10 is all you have, great. But if you can spare 22 minutes, where is your time going to go that can be most effective and be the most impactful? And I think you're right. It's the engagements, it's the comments. Like, what conversations can I be having that move the needle forward? And it's not about how many conversations you can have in that amount of time or how many comments you can leave. It's about like, where can I continue a conversation where it previously fell off, or I know I needed to respond and just haven't gotten to it yet, or maybe something just came in and you don't want to forget about it. What can I move the needle forward with there? Or what other posts are of value that I can add my own insights, expertise, and make that comment meaningful? Like, where can I move the needle forward? Because even if it's just one comment or one post that you're engaging with, but people are going to see that, it's still a productive use of your time. So again, I don't think about quantity, I think about the quality of that. And if commenting is not your thing yet, because I really encourage everyone to do it, even if you're like not somebody who's posting regularly, you have to be commenting. Like I really like I strongly encourage you to do this from a visibility standpoint so that people can hear you talking about the things that are most important to you. But even if you are not quite ready to do that, what is the thing? What is one thing, not all the things, that you can spend your time doing on the platform for those 10 to 22 minutes? Maybe one day you're like, okay, really gonna zero in and update my headline right now. Maybe another day you're like, okay, and seeing how it's the end of the month, let me do some searching. No, for those of you on a free plan where like you're limited to connection requests with a note and you're like, I know things are going to reset come June 1st, right? But I've still got a few connection requests with a note that I can send before the end of May. Who can I be using them with? Where can I intentionally spend that time to find somebody that I want to have in my orbit that I would want to have a conversation with? So it doesn't need to just be commenting on posts or just responding to people in the DMs. Really, like, where are you having a conversation to move yourself forward?
And that actually had a kind of a follow up question to that, Shell. And sorry, my computer just
And actually,
decided
I
to
see
go.
Meryl's comment now. That was the inspiration for that, Meryl, because that was what was in my
I'll repost
head
that.
when I thought about that. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world. That was my original hook for that post. And then I was like, nobody outside of New York is going to get this. So, yeah.
I didn't get it, but I liked it. I was like, that's cute. I was like, okay. I was like, what a great tagline.
It's still their tagline.
And yes, Jeff's commenting on your new hairdo there as well. So thank you for recognizing that. And
Thank you.
love a good, love when we
A
can
good
rock
hair wash day.
a good hair wash day. that was Tuesday for me, even though it's only Thursday. So it's been a long week, folks. Yeah, mine is always, I mean, this is a crazy mess. That's a whole other issue too, but we'll one day y'all
Yeah.
might see it
So
down. But
before I lovingly
um
cut you off there, I know you mentioned that you wanted to follow up on
yeah,
the
I had
22
another
minutes or
follow-up
the 10
question
minute engagement. Yeah.
kind of to the yeah, so this well it actually led to a little bit of what you said about the headline was are there micro habits that we could actually do to move the needle on visibility or an engagement? And I you started to answer kind of that question that I had there was in fact of like those micro habits of like I'm not going to redo my entire profile all at once, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the headline. I'm going to add a banner. I'm going to take that time and I'm going to set aside the time. And that's all, but feeling when we do little micro, we give ourselves goals or tasks to do that are micro based, we actually end up accomplishing more because we feel because it's that's a reiteration in our brain of saying, "Wow, you accomplished that! Great job!" Even if we don't say it out loud and acknowledge it, we know we've accomplished something on our list. So it gives us that influence of continuing to do that. Okay, so next Wednesday, I'm going to update my about section. And you know what? I'm probably going to need 30 or 45 minutes because I'm not a great writer or I need to do some editing. Things like that. I think the micro goals, I think that helps in terms of in micro habits, I should say, because your profile is not set it and forget about it. It is not. And I see too many
Yeah.
there's so many profiles out there right now that, are not being updated. And then we're hearing from people, well, LinkedIn doesn't work. And I've used this analogy this week when I've, been talking about LinkedIn and things of that nature. And one of those things is this is like cooking. Okay. You get a recipe and yeah, you get variations. And I call Shell and I your variation. Okay. Like, you don't necessarily have to use that spice. Maybe you want to use another spice. That's okay. But we also know there's some things that we need to do in order to be able to have a successful dish, right? We can't undercook chicken. That's a bad thing. We've got to do certain things. So your LinkedIn engagement and visibility is very much like that with your profile. What are your thoughts, Shell, on that?
The micro habits.
Micro
I
habits
mean,
and where people could use those
I,
for that.
I mean, it comes back to where do you want to spend your time? Like, if you boil it down to, I've, I have a lot of thoughts going on in my head, and I don't know which one to say first. Look, okay, reset. That happens sometimes. I glitch. Uh, Sometimes it is very easy to pick up your phone and doom scroll through the feed and be like, all right, I don't care about this. I don't care about this. Or chit chat and like end up like commenting nonsensical things on lots of posts. You may find that I do more of that in the evening hours because I'm like, I'm relaxing, like I'm in like nonchalant, like this isn't about my business mode. But like it's easy to go down the rabbit hole. Now, is that the most effective use of my time on LinkedIn? Not really. It still keeps me engaged and in the know of what's going on, but really, so don't use that as an example of what to do. Use that as an example of like here's how you can also play and have fun on the platform outside of what you're there to do. And we could talk about that separately. That's not part of this question. So don't use that as a what to do with your time effectively. But when I'm in focus mode, which I am right now because I'm drinking Joy Burst, by the way, that's not a paid endorsement. I really do think that
She
product works for
really
me.
does.
Um,
She should also be
I
getting paid
really do.
endorsements for them, but that's again a whole other question. But she really truly does, folks.
Now,
She really does believe.
when I'm in focus mode, I wake when I'm in focus mode, I look at LinkedIn and I'm like, all right, there's a zillion things I could be doing right now on LinkedIn. I could tweak something on my profile, like Mel said. I could pick a conversation and pick back up where I left off. I could check and see who's viewed my profile. I could look at my post analytics and check that out, what's going on there. I could post some new content. I could engage on other people's posts. I've got 3 different bookmarks set up for that, depending on who I want to engage with and when. I could search for new people. I could look at company pages. I could go into groups and mull around in there for a bit. I could join and randomly show up in somebody's LinkedIn Live, or maybe I've got some on the schedule. At any given time, there are a gazillion different things that I could be doing on the platform. But every day when I'm in focus mode, I'm like, what is the number one thing? And I'll go back to what I said before, that I can be doing right now to move the needle forward. And then I lock in on that one thing. I close any other tabs that are going to distract me from it, because yeah, normally I have multiple LinkedIn tabs open, and I lock in and I'm like, okay, let's set a timer if I have to. I don't always need to. And I'm like, okay, for the next 10 minutes or the next 22 minutes or whatever, however much time I've set aside for it, I am only going to focus on doing this thing. And if I keep building that habit and telling myself that I am locked in here, guess what? It becomes true. I lock in. That's how I end up spending more than 10 or 22 minutes on it, because I go into that hyper focused mode. Not necessarily a bad thing here when you have a goal, but like if all you have is 10 or 22 minutes or whatever the number is that works for you, pick the one thing every single time that you're going to lock in and move that needle forward. That it's you're right, it's the micro habits. You just need to consistently implement them and do them.
We try to think. Now I will say I'm a horrible example because I do sit down, like, because Shell is a much better example of doing her LinkedIn profile in bits and pieces. I procrastinate on mine and then sit down and have this major information overload where I'm like, nope, gonna do it from top to bottom, but I get it done. And I need to, like, but I should break that down so it is not, and it's when I do it, it's not overwhelming for me at where I'm at right now. But it would be better for me to do it in, like, breaking it down. And it gets overwhelming to think about, why do clients come to me or come to you for your LinkedIn help? It's because it's overwhelming to think about, well, how am I going to break down this profile? I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what is, quote unquote, an optimized profile. So, by breaking it down section by section, then you're able to actually really focus on it and really show, like, give it the attention that it deserves in those sections and make it the best section, best part of that profile as possible. Jay commented that he's noticing a lot of users use pictures to describe their post. For example, if something about the benefits of teamwork, using a visual or a pic like of the Avengers. And what we do know is that posts with visual images, I think there's some statistics out there, I don't know what the latest and the greatest is, but are actually do tend to do a little bit better. People are visual. I mean, why do we have, why can we, why is it we can get on Instagram and scroll? Because it's picture based, and if it's text based, text is great, but we want, we gotta draw them in and get them to read those texts. And so having a visual image, and sometimes having a visual image that's a little off from, quote unquote, the topic of it, or a little bit different. I have a picture of Simpson that I'm going to be posting soon about Sunday scaries, and because when he doesn't want to get out of bed, he, like, covers his eyes with his little paws and curls up in a ball. So you guys will be looking for that. So, but visual images, people do respond. And I will just say, if Shell and I ever start a podcast, I want Joyverse to be her sponsor. I don't even know. We've never talked about starting a podcast. I just wanted to put that out there in the universe. And I just thought it was appropriate.
I just tagged them in the comments of the
So, Just saying, if you want to be a sponsor for this weekly, monthly LinkedIn Live, we would. Uh, I will too go to Costco and get Joy Boys. So, um, so want to just wanted to put that out there for the world. Um,
Yeah, talk before you go to the next question. I also want to so if engagement is your thing, and I did mention that sometimes I go down the rabbit hole in the evening hours and I chit chat a little bit more, like with like sillier banter on people's posts, and even but like I do, you'll probably see it if you go to my comments. In again more likely in the evening hours, but like because we were just talking about images and capturing people's attention, if there's an easy way, like, and I am a millennial through and through, and my brain lives on movie quotes, commercial jingles, 90s songs, and 90s cartoons, like nostalgia type stuff. Like I have jingles in my head from commercials from like the 90s that are only in New York. Um, if it when I see people's posts, this is stay with me here because this is how my brain works. When I see people's posts, if I'm looking to like I if especially when I those moments when I'm in like silly banter mode, if something gets stuck in my head and I'm like I immediately think of something, I go and I find a gif to add on to that comment. I do it in some of like the more serious and more meaningful comments too, but more likely than not, like if there's an easy like image that I can attach to that, even if it's a quick like selfie of me doing the thing because they asked for people to comment and like say like, hey, what recharges you? And I'm in the middle of drinking a Joy Burst, hint hint, like because hey, like I'm in focus mode. Check it out, right? Like if there's an easy image that I can attach to it, and GIFs are pretty easy to do, I'm sticking that in the comment too because it's going to pop up and people are going to gravitate toward it and be like, oh, I remember that too. So, like, long roundabout way of saying, yeah, images really do help capture people's attention and help them put them in that moment, that frame of mind, that nostalgic memory, like whatever you want them to feel or see or think about. Like, if there's an image that will associate that for them, take the guesswork out of it and just like make that psychological pairing, like make it easy for people.
which actually, I don't even think you realize you're doing it. This actually leads to our next question that we had. And if you guys have any questions that while you're watching, drop them in the chat. Let us know. What are your challenges? What do you need help with? What are you experiencing on LinkedIn? That's why we're here. We're here to coach you through this process. We want you to leave every Thursday night and feel like, wow, I walked away with something I can go and implement and I can actually do this on my own. That's what we want that to be. We want it to be like, oh, wow, that was really informative. Um, and again, going to the next question. So we had a question which was, I want my LinkedIn presence to feel authentic, not salesy or performative. How can I share my real self in a professional way that still resonates with my ideal client? And I could also say, too, your ideal employer as well. So, what I'm going to lead with this and tell you that this is the area that I have struggled with the most. Shell, I will say, I feel does this very well. Like, this is her strength. I'm one of those people that I get into that, like, oh, I am like, when I got on LinkedIn, where LinkedIn is a career coach, very performative in terms of like, here is how to do this. Ironically, when I'm on this platform with Michelle and doing like a LinkedIn Live, there's Charlie, there's the cat, there's all this other chaos, there's the ADHD brain. I end up being more of my authentic self in this arena, which is weird because I am not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. And I'm like, and I also dread like doing videos, but yet I, for whatever reason, will be like, oh, I can be a little goofy here. I don't tend to take myself, honestly, I don't take myself too seriously. Um, in regards to that, I do take what I do seriously in the sense of what my clients are facing, um, the challenges, the burdens, everything of that nature. I absolutely do take that. Um, and yes, to Sherilyn's point, why do you think I market the heck out of Simpson? People love the cat. Of course, I'm a stage mom. Of course, I'm posting the cat picture of the cat. Um, I'm gonna offend all the. I am a dog lover too, but hey, I will milk that cat for all it's worth. Believe me. Um, but no, that's like, but and I am, yes, I am a cat mom. He is our baby. He is my baby. Um, and so but that is when it comes to the authenticity piece, I have actually struggled with that, and that's something that is actually kind of what I'm working on right now, is like just being more, trying to be more real in the sense of my own voice. So that's kind of my question. I'm just going to flip this question, and of course you can answer the question too, Shell, but how do you go about, like, because I feel like you show up as your real voice, but tie it into being a coach. And I don't know if that's anywhere that like you realize you're doing, or just like, hey, this is all I know how to do. I'm not sure how to ask that question, to be
Um,
honest, but
I don't think I'm conscious of it. Like I don't think I'm like, let me talk like a coach and like I don't switch personas. It's just who I am. I will tell you when I try to switch personas and sell more, I end up selling less because I am cringing and uncomfortable the whole way that I'm doing it, and that I think people can easily see on the other side. So I try to stay out of that mode. Like I am who I am. I write how I write. I write the way that I speak, which doesn't always work for everybody, but you get what you get from me kind of thing. And there was a time when I would be really apologetic about it, but I talk the way that I would talk to somebody that I'm as if they're already my client. I would talk to somebody as if they're my best friend. I would talk to somebody as if they're my brother or my sister. Like I'm encouraging you. I am supporting you. I am going to find an answer for you if there's something that I don't know the answer to, like I did yesterday with a client, didn't know the exact answer, spent an hour looking for it. Right? Like I am there's just no other way for me to genuinely be because it's not an act. Right? Like I'm talking to you as if you're all my best friends here, which means that even if my voice changes a little bit, or I second guess myself and maybe you don't know that I'm second guessing myself in that moment. Like the biggest struggle for me is the directness, because usually I think I need to pre-qualify things or like give a caveat in order to present you with new information. I want you to have all the details instead of just like, here's the thing. But sometimes I feel so comfortable that I'm so direct that I'm like, was that too harsh? Did I say too much? And usually when I think that, that's just the right amount of directness that it needed, and I'm in my head. So like I don't mind testing things out. That's the other thing too, is like you get slightly, it's still me. You'll always know that it's me. It's never going to be somebody else. I'm never going to have lead gen people engaging on my behalf or responding to my comments or sending you messages. Nobody can replicate my voice notes, by the way, because my voice is my voice, and that's one of my sweet spots, right? Like is that I love sending voice notes. So like you're always going to be able to hear that enthusiasm, that emotion, that like, ah, oh, shit, God, like I wasn't done speaking and linked and the message cut off, and here's what else I was trying to say. Like you're just always gonna get the essence of me, and so if I can impart that on all of you, like what is your truest self? Like how would you talk to your best friend, or your family member who like you love and trust and have no reservations, like sharing things with, like not the family member that you're like, I don't know what to say to this person. I hate when they show up at family gatherings. I wish I never had to like spend more time with them. Not that person. Think about the person that you trust to be open and be yourself with, and pretend you're talking to that person all the time. That's it.
I do agree with Sherilyn.
That's and that's
No,
all.
100%. I mean, I think that, and even Sherilyn said, as the older we get, the more comfortable we get about our genuine selves. I absolutely agree with that. I do think that it is not about one of the things that a lot of times people, it's not about Shell and I telling you, hey, here's, go write this. Here's your tip of the, I mean, we can give tips and suggestions about, um, yes, and how would I talk to Mr. Simpson? Of course. I mean, because him and I legit have conversations.
I would share my most intimate secrets with
Of,
him.
I
Like,
mean, and he
no,
loves
no
Aunt
qualms
Shell,
about
let
that.
me just tell you. He knows when Aunt Shell is on the phone. But he loves Aunt Shell. So, um, but I think it's one of the things too of like not feeling like, oh, this is what a coach has to, because I think one of the things that I want, yes, I of course I want people to take me seriously, but I also want them to know, like, I genuinely care about what is happening, and sometimes almost too, like, carrying that burden of like too much of what's happening, where I can't necessarily fix certain problems, especially in the job market. But I think this is, and ironically on this topic, I shared a very intimate story in my newsletter. That happens to be my writing style, tends to be a little bit like mid form to long form type of, I just like writing stories. I always have. Even as a young kid, I would write, like, I had a whole series of like books that I was quote unquote going to publish. I didn't know what the heck I was going to do, but like I had no clue what I was talking about. Um, but I used to write a lot of stories. I used to write a lot, but so now I write it in the sense of my newsletter. That's my outlet. And I shared about my layoff story because this week it was really, I don't know what's in the universe this week and the moon and all that. I don't know what's happening, but a lot of feelings from a lot of people. I hate LinkedIn. LinkedIn sucks. LinkedIn gods, this is not me saying, it's just repeating what they were feeling. And and here I am. I'm like, no, LinkedIn is great, and some people are like, oh, what you're giving is fluff. It doesn't really, like, you don't know what people are going through. You're a coach. How do you really help? And and by the way, some of these were my own personal clients that have already paid me. And I'm literally one of them is like, I don't get how you're going to help me with LinkedIn, but you can try to convince me, was his quote. And I said, oh, I am so up for this challenge. Let's, like, I was like ready to rumble. And that is the recruiter in me, in terms of like, no, I don't back down. I don't take no for an answer. I'm going to give you the cold, honest truth. If you guys really want to know, you can drop it. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to know what they used to call my nickname was in our office, you can drop it in the chat. And but I give real advice. I don't hold back. And maybe I am, and I can be harsh sometimes. I mean, I have one client right now. We are in a tough love situation. Okay. We are in tough love, and there's not going to be any way around it. So it is a balance in terms of showing that person, but also showing, the funner side of me that loves all types of music. And you know today was like a very tough, like, I just had a tough day. And so I was, I messaged Shell, and I actually messaged another friend, like, okay, I'm feeling better. I went into my little emo self. I had, some soup and listened to Radiohead, and, went back to Melanie, her teenage year emo self. And so, but that, like, right there, that could be a post. That could be a post, and so sometimes you got to step out of yourself and realize, like, oh, does any, I think we then would think, well, does anybody really care? Does anybody really want to hear that? Um, and yes, I want to make sure that we also get to Mel Richards' question there. Thank you so much, Meryl, for bringing that back up there as well. So let's tackle Mel Richards' question. And Mel is one of our big superstar fans. And so we want to give her a shout out. And if, also, guys, check to see who's here. Okay, check to see who's here, who's commenting. Should you be connecting with them? Should you be networking with them? That's the other thing that we want you to do in this room. And when we're here, we want you to start building relationships with one another. And I know there are relationships that have been built with one another because you can see the comments going back and forth. Like, hey, glad to see you. Glad that's what we want. So yes, let's tackle Mel Richards' question, show.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to pull it up on the screen for
Yes.
other people to see. So she says, building on your gems last week about connections, and I do remember that conversation. Please continue cool shares about managing connection requests. Inbox and InMail is full of the ones clearly using AI templates, bad scripts, questions, or showing a lack of awareness and care. How long should we take to respond with kindness? Um, First off, why do you need to respond to them? So I see your question and I ask you another question, which is sometimes what I often do because I play devil's advocate a lot. I don't know the cheerleader way to say that if there's a term for that, but the devil's advocate in me is wanting to like make. I want to preserve your energy and your time, and if your inbox and your email is full of like things that you clearly don't feel great about, or you know that you don't really want to be responding, just don't. You don't, unless you really feel like you need to, or like you want to do what I try to do sometimes and flip the script. Like, I think the kindest thing that you can do is be kind to yourself and like just delete it out of your energy field altogether. Like, block and bless. Maybe you don't need to go the route as far as blocking them. That's just the phrase that I'm using here. But like, clear them out so that you don't keep like weighing yourself down by them. Because if it's full, it's definitely like taking up your time and your energy, or even like a microsecond of like your thought to be like, oh, this is still here. Clear it out. It's going to make way for better things to present themselves to you. And the more that you clear out that clutter, the more that you are being kind to yourself and allowing for the right opportunities to be in front of you. So maybe that's not the answer that you were hoping for, but in all kindness, it needs to be directed at you, not the other person here.
I fully agree with that. Here's the thing. What do? I delete. I absolutely, and Catherine, ignore the spammy or false profile request. I do take some time when I see the fake profile spamming job seekers. Oh, reach out to this recruiter, blah, 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 blah. I do take the time to report that. I report them as a false profile because I feel like that is absolutely something it's a must have right now. And in the world that we're in because of too many job scams. So I do take the time to do those. But if I'm getting spam in my inbox, I do not respond to it. And honestly, I'm going to go into my career coaching mode. And this is something I tell my clients all the time.
Career coaching hat.
Yep,
Got
got my
it.
career coaching hat. Some people will say, well, I've sent messages, they're not responding, And this even applies to business owners, entrepreneurs, everybody. So first, there's kind of two parts to this. But what I say is, okay, so here's the thing is let's focus on the people that are responding. And the same, we're just going to flip the script. Focus on the people that you should be responding to. Focus on those people. If those are not the people, we are not, nobody is owed, and this is the hard ass coming in. Um, nobody, we're not obligated to give anybody our time. we're not obligated. It's our choice. And I'm, very grateful that, Shell, of course, gives me of her time and her talents and, thing. And you guys, I'm grateful that you give us of your time every single Thursday. For that, I'm grateful. So I'll pour into that. And I'm going to pour into that because you give me your time. I'm going to give you of my time. But for the people that are using really spammy approaches, there's some a little bit underhanded, like you're sitting there going, is this spam? If you can't tell if this is a legitimate message, then I would say, okay, I did this the other day. I was like, I actually took the cue from Shell. I literally was like, I mean, I knew because I dived a little bit deeper into her profile, but I knew it was going to be spam. And I literally was like, you said that you liked my post, but I'm really like, what specific post are you referencing? Was there something specific? I'd love to know. And I knew it was a spam. I knew it was a sales. I mean, literally, let me just copy and paste.
I've done that
Oh yeah,
before.
I'm literally like copy and paste from the Shel Shapiro handbook. Okay, um, literally.
I have a handbook. Okay, I love this.
100%, folks. I mean, I might as well have had Shell write the message back to the person. Okay, I'm literally like, what would Shell say? And I usually don't do that, but I was feeling a little feisty, and I was kind of like, oh, you know what? I'm going to push back on this one. And she then started in our sales pitch, and I haven't responded since because honestly, I don't have the time, and I'm not going to like sit there and like, go through that. So I think we have to be really cognizant of our time and where we want to spend our energy and what we're focused on. If it's not part of my, and I know this may sound harsh, if it's not part of my goals, then I'm not going to focus on it. So yeah, I agree. It may not have been the answer people expected per se, but it is where we do have to be protectors of our time, and we also have to have boundaries. I'm not going to connect with everybody. I have a I have a profile or I have situations that I will like, depending on a purpose or a goal, it is those are my goals determine who I connect with.
Yeah. And I love what Sherilyn said about having zero guilt and like that her philosophy is until someone's paying her mortgage,
Yeah.
she only responds to what she wants to. Like, I don't have a mortgage right now, but like I totally relate to that. Like on a soul level of yeah, I have the freedom. I get to pick and choose what feels good. And yeah, not everything's gonna feel good. Sometimes you want to or there's a reason for you to respond to something, but like you get to make sure that it is aligned with your goals on the platform or what's going to move the needle forward or if it's a conversation worth having. If it's not a conversation worth having or if there's no reason or you're not sure or they didn't maybe they didn't give you a reason yet, and you don't have the time or energy to go digging into their profile and their background to find a reason, which like we should be doing a little bit of sometimes to like find our reason for wanting to continue the conversation. Not did they give a reason, but is it what's my reason for wanting that? Like if you don't have that and you don't have time for that and you don't want to participate in that, just don't. You I know Mel said like trying not to judge, and she had judge in air quotes. Like absolutely judge. They're not going to know that you're judging them, but you sometimes you need to make those snap judgments and go with your gut. Like it's still a judgment. Like I don't
But
have
here's
time
the
and energy
thing:
for you, or this doesn't make sense for my goals. Judge.
there's
You
there's good
you are.
judgment.
I'm giving you permission to judge.
Yeah, absolutely, but there is good judgment. We just call it. The thing is, we just call that discernment. We just
Yeah.
there's bad judgment, like, hey, are you gonna jump, like, when your parents like, if all your friends jump off the bridge, are you gonna jump off the bridge? Okay, that's bad judgment. um
Well, maybe do I have a
right,
parachute? Is there a
like,
bungee? Like I need to know the other
and
factors.
again,
But yeah, I
teenage
get. I'm not
Melanie
going to go down that
made a
rabbit
lot
hole.
of bad judgment decisions. Okay, but the good judgment is we just call that discernment. It just sounds fancier. And by the way, I consider that a big word today, and I use the word terse today too. So I'm feeling all adultish. Yeah, I
Terse.
don't ask
Okay.
me why, because I feel like I would not know. I typically don't use those kind of words. So, but yeah, to Mel Richards out there, just use your discernment. And all of a sudden, now it's like, oh, now, I mean,
Judge
judge
away. They don't need to
away.
know.
So Jeff asked, how do you know it's fake? How do you know like there's a fake profile, fake comment? Um, so what?
Okay.
Oh,
So this I'm gonna give like one thing right out the gate that is immediately coming to mind. And honestly, now that it is a thing on the platform because lots of people are posting and talking about it, there's others. I'm literally just gonna give you this one off the top of my head. I write this way. So the big okay, I'm caveating again, right? Like I'm giving you the disclaimer before I tell you. Um M dashes are a big one that AI uses. Like you can usually tell that people are using some sort of AI or writing tool if they have things with M dashes in it. Now, I now have to go back and be hyper conscious of when I use M dashes in my writing because that's part of my natural writing style normally. And I'm now like, people are going to think I'm using AI, but I'm not. So now I'm taking them out of my writing just so that people don't think that I'm using it. But that's a thing lately on the platform. You've probably seen lots of posts about people complaining about the M dashes and spotting
so
fake comments.
I'm also going to preface something here. The use, and I've been doing a lot of studying and learning more and more about these tools. How can we apply these tools? How to not make these tools. I'm a big believer that in order to progress in this world, we need to understand these tools. I don't, even my father, when he was alive, eventually got a cell phone. My parents got rid of the phone. Like I mean, they both, they moved forward in the world of technology and whatnot. So what's an M dash? So because she is my twin, apparently separated at birth from a writing standpoint, I too love a good dash. I do. And now I am, and by the way, Shell and I have not had this conversation. I just want to preface this. I too have sat here and gone, oh, damn, I'm going to get judged because I use dashes. So it's more of just a style of, and so what happens is though AI starts to create its own little trends. So Chat GPT, for example, I don't know if we can find an example. I'm sure you can probably just find one of my posts and use it. But so but they use a dash or a long dash in between a sentence that's like connecting a thought. It's not a real grammar. I mean, it's not a real grammar. Technically, it's not a real grammar like sign, but that's what the long dash in a paragraph or something that kind of stops a thought and then goes into another thought, but still connects them. That is not an educated answer, by the way. So I just so like I too had this thing where I do use them. And now ChatGPT, for example, it's their latest trend. Um, so yes, none gave it up for Lynn. Thank you, Melanie Richards. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, so just using the longer dash in between us like wording. But I think in terms of the fake, like I want to go to the fake profile too, is check the person's profile out. If they're commenting on something and they're like, hey, you need to like come and give this, and I've even had this, please, everybody, I don't think there's anybody here that's having this issue because I'm looking at your profile pictures, but I've really been, and yes, Mel Richards, I've been judgy lately of people's profile pictures and wondering, is that a fake? Is that AI? Is that a real person? Because we are blurring the lines really close on some of these profile pictures, and some of these fake profile pictures are getting really good. Um, And so, yes, Adrian, thank you. Everybody's used dashes, and now ChatGPT has just ruined it for everybody. Um, so, damn ChatGPT. Um, but so the profile, use your real picture, be yourself, people, please. Thank you. Um, but look at the person's profile. So if they're like, oh, and I just saw this the other day, like CEO of a quote unquote some staffing company, but he literally had 5 connections. I promise you this: a CEO of anybody is not going to have 5 connections, okay? And they just didn't land on LinkedIn today, okay? Look to see what's their comments. That's the key. Because here's the thing: how do you know they're fake? Their comment is the same on every single post that they've made. They do not deviate. It is a copy and paste. What's happening is these scraping, whatever these little monster machine things do, they walk onto a hashtag and they find those posts that have those hashtags and then they spam those posts with these comments. So they do it, and I don't really know what the outcome of this is supposed to be honest with you. Maybe I'm a little naive in this, but unfortunately, people do message them. They want you to message them because I do know that's when they can capture your email and then bad stuff can happen. So now I'm sounding like my mother. But um, so who we did used to have to tell, please do not respond. Your Amazon account is fine. It's not been hacked. Um, and do not and stop responding to those Amazon emails. Please stop that. So
I didn't order anything.
right, my mom's like, they can't unfriend. Like your Amazon account is fine. It's fine. So yeah, so definitely, look at the person's posts. See what kind of activity they have. Are they commenting? Are they creating content? What does their work experience say? Because all of a sudden they went from like being the store clerk to the CEO. I mean, it's laughable, these fake posts. But unfortunately, people, when you're down, you're maybe depressed, you're feeling a little, they're legitimately. Oh, I love a good ampersand too, Mel Richards. Just geeking out on grammar right now. So, um, but I pay attention to those details. That's the time, like before you hit respond, is this person legitimate? Does this, is this person? And I'm going to tell you this right here and right now as well, because I'm starting to see this come across the board. And vet your coaches. If you're going to hire, and not just a coach, I shouldn't just put a coach, but vet somebody you're going to hire off the internet. Please do not hire somebody off the internet that does not have social proof of what they've done. And I've started to see that. There was a woman that commented about she hired a career coach. I honestly looked at this career coach's, quote unquote, career coach's profile. I don't know why this woman hired her. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but I just don't know. Like, there is nothing about this woman that said, "Hey, she's a great career coach." And so, just vet but this goes website developers, whatever. Vet them. Who have they should have recommendations. This is social proof. You get to see us, hear us, you get to kind of know us, the whole 9 yards. So we talked about a lot tonight. So so let's answer Jeff's question really quickly. Could you repeat the word that you said you know for sure that we shouldn't be using anymore?
Was there a word?
Listen,
I think I was just saying that people are getting, pinged for using M dashes, but that's not the word. That's just a symbol.
yeah, I don't.
Was there a word?
Oh well, I do. I will. I don't think I said this, but I can add it. I would not use the hashtag open to work, because I do know that one gets spammed a lot. Like I do know that. It's hard to say. These things are always evolving. Like they're going at the speed of light, and we're just trying to catch up. So definitely, just that's the only hashtag I will tell people, don't use that hashtag because it's not going to help you in a way that you need the help to. Um, from that standpoint. So yes, we've talked about grammar. We've talked about LinkedIn. We've talked about the
We talked about
cats
engaging,
and engaging, and a little bit of kind of networking. But
micro
what we
habits.
want to know, yeah, micro habits. So how do we sum this up tonight, Shell? And let's share what people can expect moving forward.
Uh, what people? So to sum this up, I would say affectionately, if you have questions beyond this ask us anything session, we are your I'm a LinkedIn cheerleader, but I'm gonna put that onus on Melanie here too for going forward. Like, we're your LinkedIn cheerleaders. Ask us questions. We are here to answer them for you and help you navigate these things. Hopefully, we answered some of your questions that you maybe not even didn't even know I have words and I can use them and say them properly. Maybe we answered some questions tonight that you didn't even know you had, or ones that you were just too chicken shit, sorry, not sorry, to say out loud in front of other people. Hopefully, we touched on some things. Going forward, because we didn't even touch on all the questions that we had. So I know we could definitely answer more questions and then some. Um, Going forward, next week is going to be our first relaunch of the way our new segments are going to be structured. If you recall from last week, we mentioned that starting the first week of June, we will be offering it. The structure will be linked free LinkedIn Live, which is what you guys are, engaging with us here. Followed by the second week of the month will be a paid masterclass. The third Thursday of the month will be another free LinkedIn session that you can attend. And then we'll probably be taking like the last week of the month off because everybody deserves a little break every now and then, just to regroup and figure out next steps going forward. But what you can expect from us is monthly topics. Every month we will explore a different topic, um, all around LinkedIn and how you can be using the platform better to become LinkedIn rock stars. And again, like, each week we'll dive a little bit more on that specific topic of the month. Um, if you decide to join the master classes in between those free sessions, we're going to dive deeper on that specific topic. It will help you implement the thing, take action on it, and test things out for yourself. So just know every step of the way you are not alone. So, again, in that first week of the month, we're going to cover that new topic. We'll go over ways that you can use it, what may or may not work for you. Then you guys can go and do that. The masterclass will be all about implementation, taking that a step further and really diving in on it if you that's something that you want more support on. And then the third week of the month will be us recapping it, going back and taking a look at what did everybody try, what worked, what didn't, what do you need more support with. And we are going to rinse and repeat that structure every single month. We're going to test it out for the first few months just to make sure that you guys are getting the support that you need out of it. And again, we will have a different topic every month that will address some uh, relevant concerns that we've probably touched on before, but it's worth it to expand on things in more detail because you never know what you need until it's right in front of you.
Think of it as like doing these sessions are going to become more of like doing a deep dive and almost like, okay, it's Thursday night and I'm at my laptop and what am I going to learn this week? And so you have a set time that you can come and you can learn and you can take away. You have the replay on these that you can watch. And then with the master classes, you're getting a little bit more one-on-one personal attention from both Shell and I, and being able to help you get into those kind of those fine-tuned details. Will nuance things. Will walk you through solutions or problems that maybe you've experienced from that first week to the second week. Oh wait, I'm totally overwhelmed. How do I do this? Oh, now I've got this problem because I implemented and this happened. What should I do and say? So, really walking you through this process because legitimately we want you to show up. We want you to come and say, here is my LinkedIn goal. Here's why I'm on this platform. I want to achieve this. How do I do it? And so, regardless if you're a job seeker, you're a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever bucket you're in, our strategies and our techniques will work for everyone because we do that for everyone right now. And not to say I know that's a big encompassing umbrella, but it is true. We both work with job seekers, but I work with coaches as too. I don't talk about it as much, but I work with consultants. I work with entrepreneurs, small business owners. So helping them with their LinkedIn presence as well as their LinkedIn engagement and strategy. So super excited about it because we truly do want you to, be able to walk away and go, okay, I can do this. So one thing, when you see the posts are going to come out a little bit sooner, I'm working on those this weekend. So we'll be planning in advance. Invite we The only thing I'm going to ask of you guys tonight is please invite others to join us. Just that's the only thing that I will ask. Invite others to join us for that first session. Super excited to be rolling this out. So stay tuned, be ready, looking for it, and we're just really excited to do this new approach with you guys, and we hope that you'll appreciate it. So thank
Yeah. And
you.
and one other thing I do want to add is like hopefully the way that we've broken these topics down by month, you won't have not only will you not have to be like sitting around waiting of like, oh, I wonder what they're going to talk about tonight. You're going to know. We've already got it planned out for the next year and then some. So we will let you know what the next week's topic is. Thinking about it out loud here, Mel and I have not discussed this yet. So first draft thought, uh, do with that what you will. We could probably even put together some kind of upcoming schedule so that you can see, all right, here's when we're going to talk about this. So if you know, I want more dedicated support with this thing, or I know I have some questions about this, you'll know exactly when that session is going to be. You don't have to wait for the event post to come out to find out. And speaking of that, next week's topic is going to be discovering your why, the foundation of LinkedIn success. And if I can leave you with this little bit of a teaser, aside from my usual like thing at the end of every session where I'm like, look around the room, look up, look down, look to your left, to your right. And as Mel said earlier, make sure you connect with the people who have joined and supported you here this evening. Here's your teaser for next week. What do you feel when you see a LinkedIn profile that feels completely disconnected from a person's true passion or purpose? Because that's what we want to talk about next week. What's the missing why, and how do you find yours? So stay tuned as we launch our official rebrand next week and going forward.
And you never know, there might be a couple of like giveaways or little surprises. So lots of new
Well, all
things
for the
in
surprises.
lots of new things in the works, folks. So on that note, and I'm sorry, Meryl Simpson passed out. He is passed out. He also didn't eat dinner at 5 o'clock, so I'm going to have a hungry cat on my hands. So, but he will wake up shortly after this. But thank you guys so much. It's been a fun Thursday night. I look forward to being able to join this with Shell every single week. And thank you guys so much for your time. I see that a lot of you guys stayed through the end, so thank you for that. And we look forward to our relaunch next week. So have a great coming weekend coming up. I just consider Friday the weekend, even if we have to work. So
Thank
just
you all
enjoy
for being here.
it. See ya.